going? Double the homework for Destiny. All right, so we've been talking about adding and subtracting fractions. And so looking back at the two that we just did, since 1/2 and 3/8 weren't the same size pieces, we changed them so that they would be the same size pieces. We changed this to 8ths and kept this as 8ths. Then we could add it. Same thing over here. We had 8ths and we had 4ths. Those aren't the same size piece. So we changed 8ths, well, we kept it the same. We changed 4th to 8ths so that we could add it. Let's do one more together, and then we can do a bunch on your own as practice. So here I've got 4ths and I've got 8ths. Two different size pieces. By the way, which one's larger, a 4th or an 8th? Braylon. Do you want a 4th of a pizza or an 1/8 of a pizza? Well, I'm not that big a guy, so maybe just an 1/8 for me. I'd want a 4th at least. A 4th is bigger than an 1/8, right? But I can't add these two together because they're not the same size. So looking at the 4 and looking at the 8, what can I change those pieces into? Braylon, what size pieces? And if you're struggling with that, again, go back to thinking about the multiples of 4 and the multiples of 8. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, so on. 8, 16, 24, and so on. What's in common? 8. So let's make them both 8ths, right? How do I change 3/4 into 8ths? Braylon. How do I get from 4 to 8? Yeah, you feeling okay? All right. You look a little tired. 4 times 2 gets me 8. So I do the same thing on the top. 3 times 2 gets me 6. So instead of 3/4, I'm going to call it 6/8, even though it's the same amount. I don't have to change 1/8, it's already into 8ths. So instead of 3/4 plus an 1/8, 6/8 plus another 1/8 gets me a total of 7/8. Good?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to let you guys have at it with these bottom 3. The only difference is, yeah, we're subtracting instead. But the way that we do this is still the same. You want to make sure that you're changing them into the same size pieces so that you can subtract. Go ahead and do all 3 and then stand up when you're done. I'll be changing these to 4ths. I'll be changing these both to 8ths. I'll be changing these both to 8ths. So if you're stuck on any of them, hopefully that gives you a little bit of a head start. Got all 3? Alright guys, you can sit down. Give another 20 seconds for those that are finishing up. Alright, let's take a look. So if I look at 2 and 4, I notice the least common multiple, so in other words the lowest common denominator here should be 4. To change that I had to double it, so I double the top. This one stays the same. So really I've got 2/4 minus a 4th, leaves me with just a 4th. Give me a thumbs up if you got that one. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. Okay. What happened? Was this, did you make this 2/4 or not? Would you keep it as, or would you change it to? Oh, well then how did you try to subtract? Can't subtract until the denominators are the same, right? So you gotta make sure that they're changed so that they're the same. Okay, over here I've got 8ths and I've got 4ths. Well, I know 4 and 8 both have a multiple that's 8, so I'm gonna change these into 8ths. This one stays the same. To get from 4 to 8, I had to double it, so I double the top as well. Now I've got 5/8 minus 2/8, which leaves me with 3/8. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on that one. What happened? Did you get 5/8? Well, that one stays. Did you get 2/8? Oh, so we just made a calculation error there? Okay. Well, at least we got the conversion part of it. Okay. And then the last one. Again, I've got 4 and 8. I'm going to change them into 8ths. So this one stays the same. This one gets doubled, so it's 6/8. 6/8 minus 3/8 leaves me with 3/8. All right. Questions on anything up to this point? Changing fractions, well, not changing how much they're worth, but changing the way that they look so that we can add or subtract them. We're going to talk about the same thing if we need to, well, I was going to say if we multiply or divide, but actually we don't need to change them then. Yeah? Because really you're saying, how did I get from 8 to 8? I multiplied by 1. So I'm doing the same thing on the top. Multiplying by 1, which really is just keeping it the same. On the bottom, if I'm going from 2 to 8, or excuse me, from 4 to 8, I'm multiplying by 2. So I need to do that on the top as well. Okay, so what did I multiply it by to get it to the new thing? Good question. All right, so this was lesson 55. Tomorrow we're going to have a test on the last 5 lessons that we did. And so instead of a regular lesson out of the book, I'm going to give you guys a study guide because that'll help you prepare for the test a little bit better than a regular assignment. I'll give that to you now, and that'll be on Google Classroom.